Find out what's hot and what's not.
We watch your programme every week.
Let's keep the pace up, party pals. It's time to work ourselves up into a sweat. We sweat at Summit in Leicestershire. But first, it's time for you to give me a quick rundown of Touch Magazine's dance chart.
Number 10, Dr. Dre, Still Dre.
Number 9, Cisco, Thong Song.
Number 8, Lexi Love, Too Fast Times. Wait.
In at number 7, Maloko, The Time Is Now.
Number 6, Craig Mack, Wooden Horse. At number 5, Angie Stone, Black Diamond.
Number 4, B1, Old Fashioned.
Number 3, Craig David, Fill Me In.
Number 2, Common, Like Water for Chocolate.
In at number 1, MJ Cole, Crazy Love.
I'm Boy George, and you're watching CLUBAVISION. Don't go to bed.
Jog in the park, aerobics class, sauna? Nah, there's only one way to work up a good sweat, and that's gyrating and getting on down on the dance floor of a good club. So here we are at Summit in Leicestershire for a night which is appropriately called Sweat. So prepare to perspire. Co-promoter here at Sweat. Cheryl, Sweat started off as a Thursday night, but how did it all evolve?
Basically, just from going clubbing ourselves and sort of like thinking, well, we could do this, so why don't we have a go? So basically that's how it started.
It's been a bit of a nomadic night up until now.
I think we've done about as much as we can do in Northampton where we are. So this was kind of like the next step to sort of develop a bit more.
Someone that's never been here though, what can they expect when they walk through the door? Tell us about the venue.
As you've seen yourself, it's all on different kind of levels, which is really nice. So, and it's not like a theatre, whereas you're all sort of got the chairs, as you've seen. It's got, there's a restaurant, there's also another bar, which is way out the back there, which also has DJs in. And then you've got the main auditorium, which holds all the bigger names.
So where do people come from to come here?
Mainly we're getting people from Derby and Nottingham. That's our main hit at the moment. So we're trying to work on Loughborough at the moment. So, because obviously that's nearer. We're not in a city centre. You don't just get anybody walk in. They're actually coming here because this is where they want to be.
So what have you got planned in the near future?
Kind of hoping to be doing Iron Apple this year. Also Ibiza. But we're not doing Sweat in Ibiza. It's a Disco Inferno night, which we also do. So we're taking that out there this year. Hopefully loads more great nights here and the Guildhall, which is just brilliant.
It's only recently become a club, so do you find that you've had to put more decor and there's loads more work had to go into it to make it into a club venue?
Definitely, yeah, because it's without anything up, it really is just a cabaret hall. I won't say what I was going to say though, because I might go into
bingo hall. You'll do a bit of bingo calling later. Let me introduce to you Jimmy Van M. How are you doing, Jimmy?
Doing good.
You started DJing in '92. How did you first get into it?
I used to go out to a club called The Cage in Orlando, listen to a DJ named Dave Canalti, and basically it all just kind of started from there.
How would you describe the type of music you play?
Definitely more deeper, more bassline driven, darker drums and stuff like that. Synth riffs as well, but nothing real obvious.
How about on the production side, because you produce under Van M?
Yeah.
Have you got anything coming out of there at the moment?
Yeah, Van M Leeds is a track we just did. It's coming out on Bedrock. It's called More. Another thing called ECIPS, which is coming out on Fluid. And did a remix of Bedrock Voices. And ECIPS and Voices have both just been used on the new Northern Exposure 4 from Sash and John. So look for it on there.
You were over in Miami for the music conference. What was that like?
That was great. We had a great time. We did the Saturday Ultrafest beach party, had like 15,000 people. And we did the Sunday night at Shadow Lounge. And then we had a Twilight party on Tuesday night with Carl Cox as well, which is very, very good.
So do you think over in the US it'll ever become like the UK when DJs are seen as pop stars?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you look at some of the bigger artists who come over to America now. They're getting shot by major fashion photographers, getting into some of the major magazines, Spin, Article, like Rolling Stone. They're getting pieces in that. Digweed was just in a new movie called The Groove that actually got bought at the Sundance Film Festival, which is major release in theaters in America in June. So yeah, I mean, everything's really getting to like a really large level for sure.
Is there anyone you'd like to collaborate with as far as production work's concerned?
Yeah, there's definitely a few people. I'm working with the Kazan Slide now. They're the Flying Rhino guys. John and Barry from Evolution, I've done some stuff with them. And, the Funk Function guy from Holland, I'm going to do something with him relatively here in the future. So yeah, definitely.
So work then.
Yeah, everything's great.
You look like the Gatecrasher kids.
Yes, everyone says that. Even when we're in Northampton.
We've got a bit of a father-daughter thing going on here, haven't we?
We are, yes.
Our first sweat was a year ago.
Sweat is fantastic. It's got a lot of potential to move on.
Where you all from?
Leicester.
Don't go into Leicester, it's too far. When I've got this on my doorstep, I don't bother.
This is Freddy the Frog.
We go to Emporium, but Leicester's not too good. We're more clubbers. But this is brilliant tonight.
So where else you like clubbing?
Cream, everywhere. Been to God's Kitchen, the Tank Tree, Milton Keynes, Passion, anywhere really.
And we're also up going Creamfields as well this year.
I went last Saturday down at Q Club. I was standing two next to the speaker all night. I mean, my hair is just totally gone.
I thought you were air traffic control when I walked up here earlier.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Waving that around, I thought you were, getting the planes in there.
Oh yeah, it does everything this does.
I took some funny stuff. I found myself sitting in a corner, spewing up everywhere, and nobody would help me. Nobody would help me.
Did you pull that night? Did you pull that night?
Yeah, muscle in my throat.
Just looking at each other's heads is funny.
Just what?
Looking at each other's heads is funny.
At a closer look, it looks like one of those novelty sponges that you wash yourself with in the bath.
No, it wouldn't be one of them. No, of course
You haven't had that in the bath with you?
No.
By my face?
Not yet. Not yet. Give it time.
Have you got a favourite DJ at all?
Yeah. Random block. Just shoes.
John Kelly. Like them all, really.
Have you said Boy George is your favourite DJ then?
Yeah, he's the man. He's the man. I don't think I've missed any one of his gigs yet.
Boy George is wicked, yeah. You going to Scotland tomorrow?
No.
You missed one then?
Yeah, but you see, I've just changed my shifts now and I'm on permanent 12 hours.
We like the judge.
Why is he good?
We just like the judge, don't we? It's cool. He's cool.
What type of music does he listen to at home?
Trance, techno, house, everything. Bit like me.
Have you ever been on a clubbing holiday?
We're going this year. We've been away a few times, Ibiza of course, and this year's the one.
I've only ever been to Benidorm. Not exactly the same.
Bye from Sweat. Yeah, bye-bye, Nikki. You tart.
The one and only Boy George. How you doing, George?
I'm doing good, thank you.
A bit hot and flustered after your journey all the way up here.
No, it's quite cooling. I like the chairs. The chairs are very happening. Reminds me of my Indian period.
You started DJing at the age of 17 alongside your good pal and housemate Jeremy Healy. How did you get into DJing in the first place?
A friend of mine used to run a club called Planets in London, and myself and Jeremy were the only people he knew that had a record collection, and we were also a big pair of posers, and we liked the idea of being in the DJ box because it was like being the centre of attention, so we got the job, but it's very different to how it is now, and it was just sort of lots of long silences. It was the sort of early days of dance really, and everything was a bit kind of DIY. So it was a nice kind of atmosphere in those days, you know. It wasn't the kind of huge industry that it is today. So there was a little bit more experimentation, you know, you could take more risks, you know, there wasn't as much expected as there is now. So it was good times.
Let's talk about Culture Club now. You've recently done a UK tour, finished in December, didn't it? Have you got a lot of the same fans that you had beforehand?
Yeah, I mean, you do see a lot of familiar faces, you know, they're older, some of them have got kids now. But the surprising thing on the British tour last year was that there were lots of younger people. A lot of them weren't old enough to be around when we first started, so that was quite nice. But we do get grannies and trannies. That's the Culture Club audience. Old ladies, homosexuals and drag queens.
When you first got back into DJing, a lot of DJs were quite sceptical. When you first went out, I mean, what would you like to say to them all now?
Well, I mean, a lot of DJs make records, and I don't have any objections to that. I mean, I think one of the good things about this sort of, you know, decade, if you like, is that you can do what you want. You know, there aren't any rules about what you're allowed to do, and I think that's a healthy thing. And, you know, I've always been into music, and I've always been into dance music. I've been clubbing since I was 15. A lot of the people who slag me off weren't even going to clubs when I was going to clubs, and they don't know what they're talking about, so they could all kiss my ass.
Look at half the cast of EastEnders have made records anyway, so...
Well, I'd never do a Ricky... Is it Ricky Butcher? I'm always quite careful about who I do. Although I did do a Barbara Windsor remix because it was just so camp, I couldn't say no.
For anyone who hasn't heard your show on Galaxy, which is networked and also it's played throughout Europe, tell them what they're missing.
Well, they're missing the fact that I haven't got a London show.
We want a London show.
Well, I'd slag off Radio 1 all the time, so I can't imagine they'll ever give me a dance show on Radio 1. But one of the good things about doing a show on Galaxy is that I do get to play things that I like, and I get to experiment, and there aren't any rules. I mean, I just play what I like, whether it's two-step, trance, drum and bass, jungle, you know, house, handbag, hard bag, old bag, new bag. I just play records I like, you know.
Are you off to Ibiza this summer?
I am. I'm going for 3 weeks in July.
Are you?
The only thing I don't like about Ibiza is that you can't really dress up in Ibiza because it's too bloody hot, so you can't look good because everyone's walking around in t-shirts and shorts.
Did you keep your hat on and your trunks?
I know, when I was there last year, everyone kept saying, "Are you hot?" And I was like, "What do you think?" I was like melting everywhere I went. I refused to wear boring clothes, so it was a difficult thing for me to go there.
In a series of compilations for Ministry and for Galaxy, have you got any more in the pipeline?
I'm really bored of compilations because you never get to put things that you love on there. It's always like obvious remixes of very famous records. And in the early days when I first did them for Ministry, it was a bit more experimental, but then it got to a point where it's like you have to put this on, you have to put that on, and you managed to get about 3 good records that you liked on there. And I'm sure people are bored of them. I mean, there's so many of them now.
Now, a little birdie tells me that the BBC are working on your autobiography, Take It Like a Man. What can you tell us about that?
Well, it's been going on for about 7 years now, and the BBC own the rights to the book. And there was an American company that were doing the film, but then they wanted to rewrite the whole thing, change the history, you know, change history. So we've now hopefully found someone else in America, unfortunately, because Americans have got all the money. So they're hopefully going to put in the money to make it, and it should be in production, if not this year, certainly next year.
Cool. Have you got anyone in mind you'd like to play the part of you?
I think it's got to be somebody new, you know, because whoever plays me from 16 to 27, so I can't do it, unfortunately.
Not Adam Rickett?
No, Adam Rickett, I'm Butch. Adam Rickett's camp, I'm Butch. You've got to know the difference. You know, he's a girly boy. I'm a boy-girl.
I need a bit of advice from you now. How do I get more protein?
How do you want protein? Well, I just don't even think I need to tell you. You've got really good skin.
Sorry, I'm lowering the tone.
Who told you to ask me that? You knew you'd get a rude answer. I don't know, I think you're pretty good at whatever you need to do.
Well, we've managed to work ourselves up into a sweat, so I guess it's mission accomplished. I'm off home now for a nice relaxing bath and a cup of cocoa. Believe me, it's the best thing after a hard night's clubbing. Well, that's if there isn't an after party to go to, but I'll be seeing you next week. On next week's show, we begin over the Irish Sea with Oz at the Glengannon Hotel Hotel in Dungannon in Northern Ireland. We chat to vocalist Craig David, check our very own dance chart and visit Enter the Dragon at Vision 2K in Cardiff.
Like, tag, share and subscribe.
So this is CLUBAVISION and this is how it's done. This is CLUBAVISION, CLUBAVISION's #1.
We're so rave, man.